Understanding is one of the keys to a successful relationship. Deeper understanding of your spouse is an important factor that will help you in sharing true bond with your spouse. So stick with me as I share some very vital points that will help you in achieving greater understanding on your spouse. Point number one, always welcome clear and healthy communication. Clear communication goes a long way in helping your partner to understand you. If your partner must understand you, then you must learn to communicate in a very clear term when you are discussing a sensitive issue, e.g., making demands, airing your opinion, what have you. Ensure that you communicate in a clear tone. Do not use misleading statements or confusing words. Always come clear whenever you are talking with your spouse in order to avoid further misunderstanding between you and your partner. Point number two, making trust a priority. Trust is another vital ingredient for a successful relationship and marriage. And any relationship, especially marriage that lacks trust, will get shattered as quickly as it started. So it is very important that you trust your spouse no matter what it takes. And let me disappoint you a little bit. Trust issue is not usually based on cheating or being unfaithful or what have you alone. You need to learn to trust your partner in the area where they have strength so that you will give them strong sense of belonging. If you don't learn to trust your partner in taking the right decision, whether you are there or not, you are making a very strong mistake, and that could lead your partner into believing that you don't believe in them, and as far as you are concerned, there is nothing they can do in this planet that will please you. And for that, you see these people that are being mistrust, doing things anyhow, and they don't care what the consequences will be at the long run. So it is very important that you learn to trust your spouse regardless. As long as you are in this relationship for the long run, you must learn to trust your partner. Sense of judgment, sense of reasoning, and in every ramification, every way possible. It is just a clear proof of strong understanding between partners. So please, if you want your partner to have peace of mind where you are, you must learn to trust them. Point number three, never take your spouse for granted. This is crime that many couples commit against each other, deliberately or ignorantly. There are many benign things you could be doing against your spouse without necessarily having an intention to hurt them. Take, for instance, if your spouse is not good with doing their laundry, why can't you fill in that vacuum? If your spouse is not too good with cleaning or looking after his own shoes, in fact, why I'm saying his is because most men, especially the ones that were raised in Africa, usually have issues doing stuff like this for themselves because our mothers regarded these men so highly, and they ensured to provide everything they needed at the right time. So it will be unfair of you as the wife to get married to this person and said he has to do things my own way. If he cannot take care of himself, he cannot wash his boxers, if he cannot do his laundry or clean his shoes, it's in his own cup of tea. Let me tell you, if this your spouse is always doing things for you, these little sacrifices you do on daily basis will go a long way in making your spouse feel relevant in your life, in making your spouse feel so important and well regarded by you. So please, as much as they go out of their way to fill in the gap in our own lives as their wives, we should equally try to make extra effort in taking care of them as much as we can. There are men that doing their laundry is not an issue for them. Those ones may have other needs. So it is important that while you are trying to understand your spouse, you are supposed to understand his area or his or her area of weaknesses and strength, so that you can fill in the gap. You should fill in the vacuum. That is why you are there. Couples must learn to show respect to one another. Respect is not just marriage rules, but then respect can be seen as being godly. And respecting your spouse can go a long way in showing your spouse that you truly love them, especially when it comes to the male gender. Because respect is one of the best language they understand. Respect means so much and almost everything to a male ego. See, let me tell you something, ladies. You can deny a man food, you can deny a man sex, but provided you give them the respect that they deserve, your man will treat you like a queen that you are. Series of stories have shown that a man would rather feel respected by his woman than feel loved, while women prefer to feel loved, cherished, and pursued by her man. In the history of the Bible, from Genesis to Revelation, studies have shown that there is no place in the Bible where any commandment of God Almighty asks a woman to love her husband. So in case you don't know what respect is, some women, you hear women say, I love him, I cherish him, I treat him so nice, I so care about him, I have so much love for him. And when the man opens his mouth to speak, a woman is shutting him down like a twilight. Or you bringing your man down to the background. You just relegate the guy to the background as if he does not mean anything to you. That is disrespect. Consistently telling a guy or a man that is about to marry you that he is not man enough for anything. There are so many things you do to a fiancé or a husband that suggests to them that they are not men enough. And the more consistent you get in treating your spouse that way, the more you lose them. So it is extremely important that you learn your husband's language of respect. His language of respect might differ from the other. If in the other home a woman is used to shouting him down and he's okay with it, you should know what your husband likes or wants from you. You shouldn't shut your own husband down because it might not work well with you. And you shouldn't bring in social media or movie kind of love and respect into your home. Your husband or your wife is a book you have to study for the rest of your life. There is no any good or best romantic book you can read that will work for you as long as you don't have an understanding of who your spouse is. So please, women, respect is very important when it comes to winning your husband's heart. There is so much sense in a saying that a man can survive and live without love, but cannot live without respect. Just like I said before, the Bible gave the man the commandment to love his wife, while the woman should respect the man in return. So please, women, if you have been learning something contrary to the Bible, then I don't know what it is. And I don't know where that is going to lead you. If you want to enjoy your marriage and have a long-lasting relationship, and a healthy one for that matter, please learn to respect your husband and learn his respect language. Point number 5, remember you are not always right. One of the toxic that can kill relationship way too fast is that idea of who is wrong or right. When you find yourself in a position where you can't listen to your spouse just because you believe that you are right, then you don't have understanding whatsoever. You should be willing to listen to whatever your partner has to say, because you might be wrong after all. Who knows? You might be totally wrong from your assumptions. Remember that it is very important to understand your spouse as an individual, as an entity. Do not use another person from another marriage to compare your spouse, no matter what happens. Your spouse should be understood and treated with utmost understanding. Do not disgrace your spouse. Do not belittle your spouse. Do not take them for granted. Try as much as possible to strike a balance when you are having conversation. And no matter what, try as much as possible not to assume things towards your spouse, so that you will start and end that conversation without being defensive. And that will go a long way in helping you to understand your spouse better, and equally help you in cementing your relationship better than ever before. So please be guided. Thank you for watching my video. Please do not forget to subscribe to my channel. See you in my next video.